Bonjour, Émilie Talpin, OM System Ambassador. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I thought I would give you 5 tips to master water drop photography. So let's get started. So, before we start, what is water drop photography, also known as refraction? Well, refraction is when the light passes from one medium to another, affecting the direction of the light. So, let's take this example. That is a dandelion clock. I placed a drop of water on top of the dandelion clock, and at the back I use a daisy. The daisy, the image of the daisy is going through the water drop and the image is inverted. So the top of the daisy is actually at the bottom in the water drop and vice versa. That's why we use daisies a lot when we do water drop, because it's just easy. Your subject, you don't see that it's inverted because your flower is round. The bottom and the top and also the sides, it's all the same to us, right? Now, let me give you my 5 tips to make sure that you can master water drop photography. Tip number 1, stabilization. You need to be completely stable. And to be stable, yes, I'm actually gonna recommend using a tripod, or what I use is called a platypod. So this is it. This is the platypod, and I use a platy ball, and that's how I stabilize my camera. So I put my camera on top, and then I can find the right angle. It is a very small footprint, and I work with very small subjects, so it works pretty well. But you can also use a normal tripod. And it comes with feet as well, so I really recommend adding the feet to make it more stable. Also, talking about stabilization, you want to invest in a wireless remote control because you don't want to introduce any vibration. So if you press your shutter, you're introducing a little bit of vibration, and you're working with subjects that are so small that if you can stay away from the camera, if you can press the shutter using a wireless remote control, that is even better. Or if you don't have a wireless remote control, or even you can have a wired one, you can probably use your phone to start your camera. I know that my OM1 comes with an app, and I can just use the app to start my shutter. Really useful. Tip number 2, placing the water drop is not easy, and to make sure that you have as much control as possible, I recommend investing in an insulin syringe. Really useful. I actually always carry also a little bit of water with me, you never know. I use my lens container. I repurposed an old one and I put some water in it, and it's in my macro case. Extremely important to have a macro case. I feel like everything is in there, and that's how I carry my insulin syringe. This is a photo that I took, and I use an insulin syringe to place all the drops. You could use a sprayer, a bottle sprayer, but honestly you cannot control the water drops. So yes, it works, but if you want to be precise where you're putting your drops, it's not going to work. You can use an eyedropper, but the same thing, the eyedropper, the water very often will want to stay on the eyedropper, and with the insulin syringe, the water wants to get away from the syringe. That's why it's a great tool to have. You can find those insulin syringe. I use a 30 gauge one. You can find them at your drugstore. Tell them what you're doing, and they're very knowledgeable, and they will be able to help you out. But if you want to realize that type of shots with all the water drops, going down, and I place them where I wanted them to go, then yes, insulin syringe is key. Tip number 3, you need to light up your background subject, the one that's going to be refracting in that water drop. So use a flashlight, or you can use those little Luma Cube. This one is actually a Litra, but they don't do them anymore, but Luma Cube does. And make sure that you're lighting up not your water drop, but you're lighting up your background, so that daisy that you have, that's why you want to put the light on. You can also use a flashlight or use your phone. You can see the difference with the flashlight, without the flashlight. So flashlight, light up that subject. Tip number 4, focus stack. Focus stack, focus stack. That's how you're gonna get the best result. I'm really lucky because my OM1 allows me to focus stack in camera. Here I'm using the 30mm macro, great lens, excellent magnification, so I can get really close to my subject, and this lens works very well for refraction. And I tell my camera to focus stack for me. So I'm going to tell my camera, I want you to take 15 shots, and I set a specific focus differential, and then the camera will take one shot after the other. And what it allows me to do is it allows me to keep my foreground subject sharp, all in focus. So it allows me to have more depth of field, but still keep my background blurry, because my background is pretty close. That daisy flower is going to be pretty close probably to your water drop. So you don't want that type of shot, in my opinion. I think this background stand out too much and it's taking away from the water drop. You want you want that creamy background, and that's why you want f3.5, f2.8 if using the 60mm macro. And focus stacking is gonna be your best friend, because if you do not focus stack, then maybe your water drop will not be sharp, or maybe your foreground, part of your foreground will not be sharp. So with focus stacking, you're getting the best out of both worlds. And tip number 5, patience. I know. If you're a macro photographer, you know that patience is key. And with refraction, patience is so important. That's why sometimes I'm gonna start a shoot, I have an idea, that's what I want to create, and it doesn't work. And so you want to keep on trying, but also know your limit. There are times where I'm gonna say this is not the day, and I'm gonna try again tomorrow, and the next day I will be successful. So don't be discouraged, because refraction can be hard and sometimes it doesn't work. So start simple: a blade of grass, a water drop, and a big daisy, and see what you're getting. Now, I hope this video was informative. Let me know in the comments, have you ever done water drop? Is it something that you want to try now? Any other questions, just put them in the comment. I'll be very happy to answer them. And I want to thank you again for all your support. If you are not a subscriber, it's never too late. Click on the subscribe button, click on the bell, so you know when my videos are coming out. It really helps the channel, and it helps me continue to create more content for you. So thank you so much for doing that. And also I wanted to remind you that this month I partner with B&H, and we are offering you a series on bird basic photography. It's really fun. I had a great time shooting it on the coast of New England. So I hope, if you are wildlife photographer, if you are into bird photography, I hope you join us. The trailer and the first video are already out. I'm gonna put the link below, and this week actually what's in my camera bag, that's the video that's coming out. So please join me, put your questions out there. You can see me in the comments. I always answer all the questions. So I hope you join us on the B&H channel, and until next week, happy shooting. Au revoir.